And good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Most Important Conversations meditations. We run these meditations Monday through Friday. The overarching theme of the meditations is liberation, in the way that we need to be liberated from our conditioning in order to connect to the creator essence that defines all of us. We are all naturally and innately creators. Before each meditation, we have a short talk, and the content of those talks are derived from our core creative liberation focused program called Whole Life Architecture, which is a interactive live community of participants who together are collaborating and learning how to step into their power as creators in their life, and doing it together, learning together, journeying together, so that they can support one another as we decondition, deprogram, so that we can reprogram ourselves according to our own desires and our own creative intention. We've been speaking about creativity for the last 3 weeks since the beginning of the new year. And we've been talking about imagination, the simulator in our mind. We've been talking about some of the attributes of creativity, and this morning I'd like to speak about the power and potency of space as a essential and necessary creative element. In fact, space is the most important catalytic component of the creative process. All creativity comes from and emerges from space. And yet space is the thing, as we know from physics, nature abhors a vacuum, and the same is true in our human lives. We abhor space. We want to fill all the space in our life. We want to fill the space of time. When we have time, what do? We kill it. We kill time. We fill time. We engage in busy making activity. We have this saying in our culture, don't just sit there, do something, because sitting there is creating space, being is creating space, doing is filling the space. And the reason that we fill the space is because we have been conditioned and learned to need and want to avoid boredom at all costs. And so we will do anything to not have to be with ourself and be with the no-thingness of life, which is its absolute state. All of existence has no meaning, has no purpose. If there is a purpose, it's just to be alive. It's just to live life. Or in the case of human beings, the purpose of living life is to create and live life, the life that we create, but to be intentional about it, to be clear-eyed about it, to be the source of our created life. But most of us don't live that way. Most of us have learned how to be consumers of life and to consume from the outside in ideas, information, space, time, consume it all, fill it all. Let there be no daylight, no space from one thing to the next thing to the next thing. And so our days become this rat race that becomes ever more busy. We can't even be busy doing one thing. Now we have to multitask. We have to do 3 things at the same time. And this is how drunk we have become with the need to fill space at all costs. But the creators in the world know that space is their most valuable tool, that all creativity can only come from and emerge from no-thingness. In the beginning, there was the void, and then God said, let there be light, and there was light. There was nothing, there was a void, and then there was the creator who spoke into the void. This is not just a metaphor for the power of a God, a ultimate creator of the universe, but it is a model for us that we need to embrace space if we are going to create. And if we're talking about creating a life by design, as opposed to merely tolerating a life by default, we need to reorient our relationship to space. You cannot create a life by design if you're in constant space-filling doing mode. So I invite all of you this morning to consider, how much space do you have in your life? In a given day, take today, for example. Do you have space in your day where you have not only nothing scheduled, but where you will intentionally not fill the space and just be in that moment, doing nothing? Not needing to fill it, but approaching it, being with it, and seeing what begins to emerge. Seeing what wants to be born through you as a creator. Learning to listen more deeply to your creative instincts, as opposed to just filling the space to avoid the pain of boredom. When you learn to be with space long enough, and you learn to be with boredom, suddenly the boredom dissolves, the experience of boredom. There's still nothing going on, but boredom is in fact a story. Boredom is the painful experience we have because we wish, we want, we expect that something else should be happening that's not. And so what boredom usually brings to us, what we usually experience in boredom, is this ruminating mind of all the things we could be, should be doing, or all the things that could be, should be happening but aren't. See, boredom isn't actually a thing. Boredom is when there's space injected into this busy, crazy, always doing frenetic life, and we're so addicted to it that boredom is almost the withdrawal symptom of a mind that can't just be. So boredom is evidence, it is evidentiary of your addiction to doing, your addiction to filling the space, and therefore your addiction to consuming. Boredom is the withdrawal symptom. Being able to move through boredom is no different than a heroin addict going through the withdrawals of addiction, the body cramps, the inability to sleep, the pain. But on the other side of those symptoms is the liberation from the addiction and the freedom to be with oneself again, whole and complete. That is the same thing that is on the other side of boredom. The ability to be with oneself, to experience oneself whole and complete as a creator of your life. So how to do this? How to move through boredom? The technique is simple. Intentionally create space. Put yourself in that spaciousness and be with it. Don't fill it. Don't do anything. Don't think anything actively. If thoughts start to pop in and out of your awareness, allow them to come in and out, and then continue to be in the spaciousness, in the no-thingness. And given enough time, and for many it may even take hours of no-thingness, you will find a new awakening begins to percolate. You'll start to have flashes of inspiration. You'll start to notice your senses becoming heightened. You'll start to notice your imagination coming back online. You'll have a rush of energy. You will come alive again. You see, all of our doing is actually creating a very numb life. It's sort of antithetical in our thinking. We think that being bored is numb, but boredom is just a symptom of not being able to be with oneself. And on the other side of boredom is a total wholeness integration of the self as a creator. Joy, peace, all of this is what emerges simply from allowing space to work its magic. And out of that will come new ideas, new inventions, new creations that you will then be incentivized and motivated to create for yourself and for your life. You'll have a clarity of mind. You'll start to see things in your life that don't align and don't create workability for your life. You'll start to see the areas of your life where you've just filled it with clutter just to fill the space. But now, on the other side of boredom, you have an appreciation for space. Suddenly you want more of it. Suddenly you want a spacious life. Suddenly you don't want to be busy, like instead of the trophy of being busy that our society rewards us with. You meet people all the time. How you doing? Oh, I'm busy, as though it's like a badge of honor. Suddenly you don't carry that badge of honor anymore. Suddenly, instead of the saying, don't just sit there, do something, gets reversed. Don't just do something, sit there. Your whole life will reorient and flip. You'll have less stress, less anxiety. You'll notice illnesses will begin to heal themselves. Your nervous system will be regulated. You won't be in depression anymore. So much of the ailments we experience are because we're locked in this frenetic human doingness. We've forgotten how to just be a human being. To be a human being is to be a creator, and to be a creator means to have an appreciation of space, to invite it in, to be intentional about it, to not avoid and resist it. So as we move into our neurosculpting meditation this morning, I'd invite you to consider your day, your weekend, your week, your month, your year. Are you intentionally inviting and creating space to exist? Are you willing to confront the addiction to doing, to go through the withdrawal symptoms of boredom, to reconnect to yourself at the deepest level? That's a question only you can ask. But I would like to leave it with you as we move into our meditation this morning. I'm going to invite Mignon now to join us for our neurosculpting meditation today.
Thank you, Chad. And hello, everyone. We will explore a neurosculpting meditation this morning. You may hear me spell out words or dial things up or down along with fun imagery, all by design as part of the neurosculpting meditation process. A process that helps calm the nervous system, prime the brain for creating supportive ideas, and allowing agency in how you move through life. Regular practice of neural sculpting can be supportive in reinforcing desired outcomes and creating lasting shifts. I hope it serves you in a meaningful way. So let's get started. And for the next 20 minutes or so, we're going to go on a meditation journey together. And this journey is going to be about releasing and letting go of what does not serve us, so the body no longer has to hold what does not work. And we'll start this journey together by bringing our awareness to the body, inviting the body to do whatever it needs to do at this moment to get to a place of comfort and rest. You might like to adjust the cushions, roll out wrists or ankles, or allow the shoulders to drop. Because your body is nowhere else but right here and right now. What would you like to do to get even more comfortable? Maybe it would feel good to take a long, deep breath in and slowly exhale, letting the air flow out through your nose and mouth, feeling your breath smooth and warm as it's released into the space around you. Your breath is breathing itself all the time, automatically. But with your awareness, you can notice that and you can influence that as the air flows in and out. On your next inhale, you might notice the air expanding in your lungs and moving down into the belly, then rising back up on the exhale, releasing out of the body, clearing and softening. Your breath is doing an amazing job as it naturally and predictably flows in and out, filling you and emptying you. And with a deeper inhale and longer exhale, your body and muscles might find it easier to sink deeper into the surface, supporting, relaxing even further. And with your awareness, you might want to connect even deeper, releasing any tension and allowing the body to sink deeper into the cushion or chair or onto the ground. Your body is right here, supported, breathing and settling. And your environment may also be adding to your basic comfort. In what ways do you notice the environment adding to your comfort at this moment? Maybe it's a comfy chair, a soft blanket, or a comfortable and familiar space around you. Maybe knowing you have everything that you need at this moment to be comfortable. You have water and food and shelter, and your breath is breathing, and your organs are working. And because you are breathing and settled, your breath is invited to flow comfortably and naturally in and out. And as your body continues to slow itself down, becoming more calm and relaxed, your thoughts are free to wander and engage your creative mind. What would it be like to imagine you were a flower? Would you be a beautiful rose admired for your lovely scent, or a bright sunflower that bees and hummingbirds flutter around? Perhaps something else. Would you be a brand new bud just beginning to open, or in full bloom? Or maybe it would be more interesting to imagine speaking a foreign language and thinking about your next conversation in that language, how interesting it might sound. This is your creative and narrative mind. Your body is always listening. And because your body is listening so well, I would remind you that you are the author of this journey. No one else, just you. A journey to identify and release what does not serve you. So I wonder if you might bring to mind a simple STRESS or an anxiety that your body has been carrying. This might be recent or it might be ancient. It might come as a memory or a conversation. And this particular stress that you're imagining at this moment, it might have a color. Maybe it's blue or purple or plaid or something else. How would your creative mind describe the texture or temperature of this stress or anxiety? Maybe it's sharp or rough. It might be cold or hot. Maybe it's heavy or slimy. What comes to mind for you? And all the while, your breath is breathing itself and your body is supported. And you are exploring and identifying and imagining. If you were to reach down into the body with your mind and scan your body to find the location wherever you might believe this stress lives, where does your mind go? Are these colors and textures heavy in your belly or sharp in your back? Maybe cold in your hands or feet? What do you observe that is particular to you? And you might remember how well your body listens to your thoughts. So, the invitation at this time is to use your thoughts in this moment to imagine doing something different or better with what you are observing. If what you are observing is stuck and heavy or slimy, perhaps you imagine it melting, letting it slip right out of you. Or if it's too sharp, you can imagine filing down a sharp edge. And if it's too intense, you can imagine a fancy or simple dial and dialing the intensity down, down, down. What does your creative mind get to do at this moment when you give it permission? As creative mind imagines, your body listens. Sometimes it's listening so subtly that you don't notice. And sometimes it's listening so intently that it's obvious. Because your mind is shifting this particular stress in this particular moment, how would you like to notice your body listening? Maybe you become aware of space. Perhaps you become aware of a shifting sensation. Or perhaps a muscle somewhere softens. What do you notice? You are bearing witness to your body's response to your mind. And if you imagined or felt or perceived a shift that supports you better, you're welcome to remember that shift by grounding into it. You are invited to place your non dominant hand on the part of your body that is shifting. Or instead, you're invited to make a hand gesture reminiscent of this moment so that when you make it tomorrow, you're reminded of the shift you experienced today, embodying that feeling with your own hand. Or what if this shift could be a scent? What could it smell like? A scent that you could breathe in tomorrow that would bring you right back here. You are invited to use your next few breaths to settle into this shift, inviting it to expand or continue shifting if that's comfortable. Breath is breathing itself. The body is still supported. If you could come up with one activation word that you could say to yourself tomorrow that would bring you right back to your capacity to shift, what would that word be? This might be a word that means something to you, or it might be totally bizarre. Imagine if you wrote that word in wet sand with your finger. And each and every time you use this word or your hand gesture or smell that scent or go on this meditation, you will strengthen that shift of what does not serve you. And all this is already inside of you. And you can invite it to integrate more and more along with your breathing. Even when you move your awareness out of the inner landscape to the sounds out around you in the room, to the way your clothes feel against your skin, taking a few more breaths at your own pace, and gently opening your eyes when you're ready to end your release meditation. Thank you for joining today's neural sculpting meditation. I always encourage you to journal about your experience. And we invite you to join us for our weekly meditations, Monday through Friday at 7 a.m. Pacific. I'm Mignon Harris, a certified neural sculpting facilitator. And this original release meditation was created by Lisa Wimberger, founder of the Neural Sculpting Institute. Wishing you a gorgeous day. Be well.